Dylan Bradley is an award-winning model, author, and influence consultant who has been featured on The Ellen Show twice. Dylan has worked with startups to multi-billion-dollar Fortune 500 companies, and his work has generated over $100 million for his high-profile clients. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Dylan Bradley.
I'm excited because you're about to discover the 3 laws that will enable you to create and monetize your influence. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you how to do this by taking you on a journey. There'll be sex. We'll go to the depths of the ocean. There'll be cross-dressers, and there'll even be warriors from the past. So are you ready? Yeah. So this is for you, and I want you to raise your hand if you want to spread a positive message and make a positive impact in the world. This is for you if you want to be seen as an expert, authority, influencer, and celebrity in your niche. And raise your hand if you want to quickly and easily and effectively monetize your influence. Now, you want to pay very close attention because what you're going to discover, the 3 laws that you must follow in order to build, monetize, and scale your influence. I'm also going to show you the essential tool that you need in order to monetize the attention you generate. And finally, at the very end, I'm going to give you a very special and free gift to help you get started right away. Now, when you obey these laws, you'll have the power to captivate, to influence, and positively impact your audience at will, and, of course, make a lot of money in the process. Now, I want to warn you that if you don't follow these, you run the risk of fading into the background, becoming a faceless person in the crowd with no influence, no impact, and no ability to change the world. So why is this so important? Well, I got really focused on this with a call, and this call was from the one and only Ellen. And she invited me to be on her show. And I was like, wow, this is going to be an amazing opportunity. Right? She's got a platform all over the world. And the skit was, Ellen invited me on there, and she was going to be selling my clothes off my back to her crowd to promote her products. I'm like, this is incredible. It's going to be great. So I run on stage, and I smile, and I'm out there, and Ellen's saying, who wants a hat? Who wants a jacket? Who wants a shirt? And people were just begging to give me money. And this was pretty nice. Like, they were just throwing their money at me. And as you can imagine, I got a ton of exposure. I was super excited. I was like, man, this is it. This is going to catapult my career to the next level. Well, unfortunately, I really didn't have anything to show for it once all the hype and noise died down. I had some followers. I had lots of messages, maybe a stalker or 3. But I didn't have the ability to turn that attention into a resource that I can use to grow my brand and my business going forward. And what I realized is there's so many other talented people out there that want to have a positive message and impact the world, that have something that people need to hear that can make a difference in the world, but they don't have the ability to turn that attention they generate into the resources they need to spread their message across the world. So I set out to learn everything I could, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. So that brings us to law number 1, and this is recreate yourself. And I want to take you to the early 1800s and introduce you to a very important person named George Sand. Is anyone here familiar with George Sand? That's okay. George Sand was only one of the most famous fiction writers of the 1800s. But what made George so famous was George Sand was actually Aurora Dupin, a woman. And what Aurora recognized is that at the time, she wanted to be a fiction writer, but the masses, her audience, weren't receptive to the image of a woman writing fiction. So instead of getting down on herself and giving up on her dream, she thought, how can I represent myself to make my message have the maximum impact? So she started dressing as a man and changed her name to George Sand and inspired a whole movement of women to go out there and create the dreams, like to go out there and become fiction writers, something that no one thought was possible before. So how does this relate to you? Well, what you need to think about is how can you create a look that resonates with your ideal customer, but has a slight, I can't quite put my finger on it, quality that makes you stand out. So if you want to look like a doctor, but add something a little extra. Or if you want to look like a lawyer, you want someone to say, they look like a lawyer, but there's something different about them. Or an influencer, or a marketer. whatever your career is, you can think about this. It's like, what do I need to look like in order to capture that attention and build that trust, but also stand out? And then that leads us to law 2. This is use bait if necessary, because there's power in drawing your prospects into you. Now, I want to take you to the depths of the ocean, and if you're scared of monsters, be careful, because I want to introduce you to the anglerfish. This is one freaky looking fish, wouldn't you think? And in fact, this fish is actually, the look of that fish is actually what a lot of your prospects think when they see you and they don't know anything about you and you're trying to sell to them, right? They're like, I want to avoid that as much as possible. I don't want to go near that. Well, what happens is this fish realizes that it's a freaky monster and it's not going to catch any prey. So what it does, it disguises itself as a little floating light. And when the fish see that light, they go up to it. They're like, what is this thing? It looks delicious. And then the anglerfish eats them. Right? So it uses that bait to draw the prospects in and then turn the fish into fuel. Now, how does this apply to you? Well, obviously, you're not going to lure your prospects in and eat them. But there are different types of offers you can use that once your influence has attracted them close to you, that you can help them take the next step. And I'm going to go over these really quickly. A couple types of offers: best-selling book, a free training, a case study, or a high-ticket application funnel. So these are one of the things that I do with my private clients. We figure out what offers work best with their look, what they're trying to accomplish, and then we create that for them. Now, keep in mind your offer needs to be seen as valuable and a no-brainer. Otherwise, people will be like, that's cool, and they'll just go away, right? So you got to keep that in mind. So write that down. Now, this brings us to Law 3. And for Law 3, you want to control the options. And you want to get others to play with the cards that you deal. And we're going to go back thousands of years to the warriors, the Spartans. Remember the movie 300? And it's not just about guys killing people with abs, right? It was actually about the Battle of Thermopylae, where a Persian army was descending upon Greece, and they were millions strong. And the Spartans recognized that there was one point in land that if they controlled that point of land, they can manipulate the Persian army into doing what they wanted. And these 300 men were able to hold off 1 million Persians for enough days for the Greeks to rally their troops and gather their forces to stop them. And this also represents the downfall if you don't control your options. And you give people too many options and you don't know where you're going to lead them, because these guys were defeated early because there was a hidden goat path the Persians could go down that allowed them to surround these guys and crush them. So how does this apply to you? Well, one of the things I do with my clients is I take law number 1, recreate yourself, plus law number 2, the bait, and add it with law number 3, the control, and put it in what I like to call an influencer funnel. And what this does is it represents your image in the way that your prospects need to see you. It helps you stand out a little bit, and it gives them one path to take in order to take the next step with you. It's not like a traditional website where you have your blog, your book, your podcast, all these different things that can be very expensive, sometimes $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. But it's just this one simple thing. So what this does, and the cool thing as well, is people like websites. I found that out. People like to click on things. So each tab, instead of being about you, it's really, how can I explain to myself, to my prospects, so they take action on the thing that I want them to take action on. So it becomes very easy and very clear for people to know what you do and how they can get it. This is very important, and it fulfills all 3 of those laws. Now, perhaps you're like, Dylan, okay, that's cool, but how does this work? Like, who does this work for? Well, it works for local events. This is one of my private clients who wanted to attract people to an event and then sell them into their high-ticket back-end program. It also works for mentorships. These guys are selling a $10,000+ program. And just some results for this one, they did incredible with this, is they generated, it's tough to see, so don't worry too much about it, but they generated over 1,000 applications for their high-ticket program just by positioning themselves using these 3 laws. So can you imagine what this could do for you? Now, it works for speaking. So if you speak, you have a call to action at the end. It's a very effective tool, so when people go there, they see your influence, they see your prestige, and they can easily take you up on your offer. Now, it even works for other influencers. This tool works for just about every niche out there. When you combine it with those offers and you're able to recreate yourself, it's a very effective tool for establishing your authority, creating your influence, and monetizing it in the process. Now, again, it works for monetizing your influence. So let's just recap. Law number 1, recreate yourself like George Sand. Law number 2, use bait like the anglerfish. And law number 3, control the options like the Spartans did to crush the Persians. And when you incorporate these laws into your brand and your business, you'll be able to create the impact and scale your business to the degree that you never thought possible. So, are you ready for your free gift? Awesome. So I'm really excited for this because I didn't just want to give you a PDF. So what I did is I gave you a PDF that gives you analysis of your personal brand. And I've even included the personal template that I use for my website so you have your own. So all you have to do is put your information in there and you're good to go. And wait, maybe you're like, but Dylan, I don't know how to set this up. Well, I've got you covered on that, and I gave you a free training walking you step by step, showing you how to set this up. So you have no excuse not to have one of these set up in your business. Now, if you want to get it, it's very easy. Just go to go.bradleydillon.com/influence. That's go.bradleydillon.com/influence and get started today. Thank you very much.